Hi everybody. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about getting started with a resume. First thing you're going to want to do is go to Illustrator and make a new file. And we want to keep this document size. And we obviously want it to be portrait mode. When you make this, I would just go to size, make it letter, and then make sure the orientation is portrait mode. So the width should be 8.5, the height should be 11. Just say OK to that. And there's my document. Next thing I want to talk about is margins. You definitely want to include margins, and unfortunately Illustrator does not do that for you, so you have to make your own. I'm going to show you how right now. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about, if I am in Microsoft Word, it naturally gives me, as you can see if I shrink down on the page, a margin for each of these pages. So for example, you can see that clearly there is a border around the page. This is something you definitely want, especially if you are publishing something and it's going to be online, which ours is going to remain digital. So you want it so that there's a margin here. So how do you do that? No problem. Get your rectangle tool, and if you click somewhere, this comes up. How big do we want this? Well, let's say that you want just a simple 1/2 inch margin around your page. Well, we know that the size of the page is 8.5 inches by 11. So if I make this width 8 inches and I make this 10.5, I'm going to have a 1/2 inch margin just by doing that. So I say OK, and there it is. I want to center this on the page. So what's the easiest way I know how? Well, this is where I can either just go ahead and bring it up to center like that. I feel like my margins could be a little bit smaller, so I'm actually going to click again. Let's do this one more time, and I think I'm going to give this a 1 inch margin around each side. So I'm going to make this now a width of 7.5 and a height of 10. So that's, I think, the final size I want my margins to be. Let me get rid of that other box, and I'm going to bring this over and center it. There we go. Okay, so that's in my layers. I see that. I'm going to lock that layer, and just to make sure I know what it is, I double-click, and I'm going to call it margin. I just want to use this to show when I'm all done with the entire resume, I'm going to get rid of that. But basically the idea behind this is that you don't want any of your text or font to go outside the margin. That's really what we're talking about. Okay, so make a new layer, and now you can actually start working on what it is that you're going to say. Typically we're thinking about hierarchy. Obviously, what do you include in a resume? Well, typical things you would include would be your name, a contact information. And in fact, there's a sheet that I give you that has all this on it. So I want you to go back and refer to that sheet and think about all the things that you're supposed to include. But the general idea behind this is that this resume, what you type here, is not just supposed to be typed out and put on here just like this. The idea behind this is that you're going to use the logo that you created, creative alignment skills. You can add other things to your resume, and I'll show you some examples in just a minute of that. But obviously you're going to start typing all this out and putting it on here and thinking about how you want to creatively format this, how you want hierarchy to show up. Like probably the first thing I would write on here is Rebecca Silver. You want it all to be one page, so you put your name first. You're going to have a list of your skills and things like that. So again, I will show you some examples, but I want this to be a not so ordinary resume, something that really catches the person's eye because it was well designed by you.